All right. Well, welcome back. We have yet another episode of the podcast that I actually host. I'm still processing that. Um, Adventures in Adversity. So, for those of you who are new to the podcast, we basically talk about overcoming adversity in its many forms in life. And I'm so honored to have a wonderful guest here today, Jackie Durnin, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
Jackie Durnin. And I am going to link to all of the resources that will tell everybody all about you. I'm going to give you a little brief introduction. But Jackie, I have never had anyone like you on the podcast yet. Someone who is a founder of a treatment center in Australia, right? I'm going to kind of let you give your spiel. But I'm so grateful to have you on because I think you offer a really unique perspective as somebody who has been through trauma and then somebody who now helps other people heal from it, right?
Yeah.
So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell me about yourself. Tell me a little bit about your retreat. We'll go all over the place, but tell me about the retreat, the treatment center you founded and how that came about.
So, I've opened a place called Hinterland Health Retreat, and it's a beautiful property on 30 acres in the Sunshine Coast hinterland in Queensland. Very, very magical. The land itself, I would say, is very, very healing. I think it plays part of the journey, that reconnection to nature. I think we live such busy lives these days, and we're so go, go, go. And this place really allows you to stop and absorb the wonderful energy of that space. But how Hinterland came about was a combination of reasons, but mainly because I'd been on my own journey for probably the last 25 years. I was sexually abused as a child, and it took probably quite a few years. There was probably many years that I kind of ignored it and was like, that's done and dusted. I don't need to deal with that. Let's
Right.
just focus on the future, not realizing that my subconscious was actually taking over the driver's seat of my life in certain instances. So once I started getting into relationships, this very scared little girl started coming to the forefront. If I was in situations with men, not all the time, but I've had situations in a workplace setting, situations with friends where they may be joking, but it felt like they were crossing boundaries. So they may be going in to kiss my cheek, but they would kiss my mouth. And my frozen little girl would pop up, and I wouldn't be able to speak. I would be in fight or flight. And I recognized that I needed to go and get help because I needed to address this little girl. I needed to address what was going on so that the present day Jackie could be in control and be in the driver's seat. And I suppose on that journey, I tried, like you named the therapy. I was a woman on a mission. I was like, I did talk therapy. I was rebirthing, doing past life regressions. I did ayahuasca. I did
Oh.
psilocybin. I did lots of body, so kinesiology, body talk, like
Mm.
literally you name. I was taking a therapy. I was like, you tell me what I need to do, and I will do it. So I tried lots of different things over the years. Probably because I was busy with work and life. Therapy would happen maybe once a month, every 2 weeks. So it would take a while. I stumbled upon emotional freedom technique, EFT, maybe I would say about 18, 19 years ago now. And my lovely bridesmaid said to me, oh my God, you should hear about this technique on depression, anxiety, addiction, physical pain. And I thought, what a crock of shit. As if,
I've already tried everything.
as
It
if
doesn't work.
anything that simple would, affect all of these things. But out of curiosity, and I suppose in a desperate bid to fix me, because I felt broken, I went on a weekend workshop and I felt significantly lighter afterwards. I felt so much lighter. I thought, I'm going to study to be a practitioner with zero intention of being a practitioner. I just thought, that would be surely the only way I could fix me. Because if I know everything about this modality, I will then be able to fix me. So, not taking into account that to become a practitioner, you actually have to do sessions on other people to qualify as a practitioner.
Yes.
So on that journey of doing work with other people, I would experience this situation in each session where I would see the light come on in their eyes. That's the way I would describe it. It's like the load lightened. They had an aha moment. I reconnected them to their inner power. That's the way I describe it, because I feel we are all magicians. My business was called Your Inner Power for a reason, because I feel that we're all magicians, and we have been using our power against ourselves unconsciously.
Oh,
so it's a bit like, what if I reconnect you to your magic and you can start using that power for good? So I would experience these situations in sessions, and then I was really lucky to be selected as one of, it was 10 practitioners. We went to the world's leading drug and alcohol rehab in Hawaii called Habilitat, and they have it's like a 67% success rate. It's a 3-year program, very intense. About 85% of their clients are transferred from the prison system for drug-related offences. So it's run quite like an army camp. It's very strict.
Yeah.
And, some of the characters that you could meet could be quite intimidating, just physically, their demeanor, their, tattoos. It's like an episode of Law and Order, something that
you're like, okay, yeah.
But what I realized in every session I did was there was a little boy or a little girl sitting in front of me who had experienced some form of trauma. And trauma doesn't necessarily have to be these big events like sexual abuse or, death or things like that.
Yeah.
Trauma could be you moved house when you were young and you lost all your friends, or it could be you lost your teddy bear when you were 4 and that was your best friend. So on some level, that's a death to that child. So really letting people process whatever their traumas are. And I think after that experience, I came back and I had been consulting in digital marketing, and I was like, I can't fit in an Excel spreadsheet when I can help people. So I started working at health retreats, and people would come for 10 or 14 or 28 days, like intensives for depression, anxiety, addiction. And it was a fantastic experience. But I think in that experience, I started really thinking about how I would do this if I was to set up a retreat center based on my own experience. And the thing for me was, number one was to create a safe space for both practitioners and for clients. And really allowing people, if you feel safe, you can feel vulnerable, you can let go of your stuff. And as somebody who's abused, safety is the biggest priority to me. And it's something that's built into the fiber of my being, because I did not feel safe for quite a long period of my life. Once I've created a safe place, it's about then making sure that we have an amazing team of practitioners who are all on the same page, that they're there for the right reason, that they're not just doing this as a job, that they're doing this because they're in their heart space. This is what they want to do, and this is where they want to be. And I'm very lucky to have found an amazing team that surrounds me at the retreat, and making sure we have that combination of medical. So we have fantastic functional medicine doctors. So they will look at we do extensive bloods, genetic testing, stool samples, hair. They work with the natural to really analyze the data and come up with a plan so that you're getting nutrient-dense food to fuel your body while you're going through all this processing. You're getting IVs on site to support you physically. There may be herbs or supplements that you need. If you need pharmaceutical, we can look at that, but we try
Sure.
and, if we can, stay away from pharmaceutical. We try and allow the body to do what it needs to do, supported by herbs and vitamins and IVs. So this, and then how all this came about was I was talking to a friend about this vision of me opening a retreat to help people, and they decided they were going to back me in that operation. So it literally felt like it came out of nowhere very quickly and started within probably 6 months of that initial conversation. So it was quite the roller coaster. But that also highlighted to me how this Hinterland Health Retreat has its own energy.
Mm.
And when you're doing what you're meant to be doing, it's like a snowball flowing downhill. It just gathers speed and starts attracting just the right people at the right time. And even clients, like we, at this stage, probably have done a little bit of SEO. We hadn't started advertising, but we've already had clients through the doors. And when I ask them how they found us, they just say, "Oh, well, we found you." I can't really remember. Maybe it was Google.
Yeah.
So it feels very
It's,
divinely led.
I love that. And now you opened your doors. Is it late 2024?
Yeah, December
Yeah.
2020.
Okay. So let's see.
Oh,
Can you hear me okay?
yep, you're back. You just popped out for a second.
Something happened there.
Yes,
Okay. Let's see. That's okay. Well, it's still going. It's counting. Okay. Um, so yeah, so it's kind of you're within the first 6 months, right?
yes. It's
Oh,
December. It
congratulations.
opened the doors. Thank you. It's been quite the journey. Lots to learn. Also, really exciting to see um, how Hinterland unfolds. Like, we've got all this amazing neuro-technology that we've brought in under one roof. Technology that's not really available outside of the US and not available in this combination anywhere in the world. We we map all our clients' brains when they come in, because I really am, as somebody who's done search engine marketing. So all I ever did was look at data, and I had to analyze clients' data, and I had to tell them what the performance was, where are the areas for opportunity for growth. So I'm all about data. So I was like, how can we make this really about data? And I was
That's
like,
great.
well, what else can we screen? So we can screen your blood, we can screen your genetics, we can screen your stool, we can screen your hair, we can screen your brain. So let's screen your brain, and let's see where it is at the beginning, and let's see where it is at the end. We may even scan it in the middle, depends if we're tweaking the program. But you can clearly see if there are, like, we've had clients recently come in the door, and you can see they have what's described as a slow brain. So it looks emotionally dysregulated. Um, it's a sign of trauma. It's also a sign of exhaustion or fatigue. So, and then at the end, we can see where the slow brain is not, it's not there anymore. It's back
Wow.
to a more normal brain, which is super exciting for us.
Hmm.
We had a veteran come in,
Oh,
and
yes.
we saw again big changes in not just the plasticity of the brains, we saw changes in normalization. So, normalization is where, when we scan the brain, we compare it to people in your age range and gender, and um, what's considered a normal brain.
Yeah.
So we saw this massive, like 66% shift towards normalization with this veteran, and in quite a short space of time. So it's, the way I'm viewing Hinterland is it's a constantly evolving space, because I don't want to be one of these places that it's like, here's our formula and this is all we're ever going to do. It's like, here's our formula. Now, how can we make this better? And what else could
Mm.
we add to this mix? Or what else do we need to do to understand depression or anxiety or PTSD? Or how else can I make this journey easier, faster? Um, Having gone through it myself and the many, many layers that there are, what else can I do for people to help them with their trauma?
Oof. I think it's fantastic that you're able to see those changes, especially I have a really soft spot for veterans
Mm.
because I mean, life is hard, and then there's and then add that, go to war, go to fight, go anything. I mean, it's just, it's fantastic that you're seeing those results because I mean, that's someone's life and it changes and then changes their life and then everyone that they interact with, they can recover from this trauma, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it's and you mentioned the emotional freedom technique. So does that have to do with like the tapping as well
yeah.
on the different energy
Tapping.
points?
Yeah, so it's
Love
tapping on
that.
meridian points. And for me, it kind of does three things because
Yeah.
when you're tapping with somebody, you're talking to them. So by tapping on these points, they're energy centers, relaxation
Mhm.
centers. So on some level, it's calming the body. The second thing it does is um, your mind or your brain is sending a message down to your body to do a certain emotion. So if I say, oh, I want you to think about that memory, and it's, let's say, 10 out of 10 sad, there's a message being sent down to your body. So by tapping on these points, what I'm doing is trying to scramble that message. So you'll get to a point of seeing the memory, but not having the emotional reaction. So it's not that you're emotionally disconnected, we're just processing the memory so you can see the picture and not have the response. And the
Ooh.
third thing is it distracts you because I'm tapping on your face or you're tapping on your face if we're doing it remotely. So I
Mhm.
found it a very, very powerful technique and very powerful for me. Um, I, through my own journey, I would be doing tapping on myself, but I found that you have to go to practitioners for certain things. And I because you won't say things to yourself, if that makes sense. Like you need a practitioner to call you on stuff or really. I just remember years ago we were going through IVF and I had a miscarriage and I was tapping on the sadness and, I'm not a woman and I don't feel good enough. And there was a lot to that. But
Yeah.
the practitioners really I have a couple of practitioners who worked in it and they really said stuff to me about because I miscarried when I was on the toilet. They said something along the lines of, I flushed my baby down the toilet. Now, that sounds really horrific, but there was
Yeah.
actually a part of me that must have resonated with that because it let out so much grief for me. And we started tapping on that. And I would never have said that to myself. Do
No,
you know what I mean?
it's yeah,
So, and
yeah.
I'm not saying that tapping is that, it doesn't have to be
No,
that traumatizing or confronting, but sometimes you need someone else there to say something to you to really get the cut through that you need for whatever it is.
yes,
Um,
yes.
I find it very, very powerful. And what I love about the technique is that anybody who comes to me, I can teach them how to do it on themselves. And I can give them a personalized script so that when they go home, if they get triggered, they can either read the whole script or the elements of the script that resonate with them. And our, you know, tagline at the retreat is, we love you, but we never want to see you again.
I saw that on your
Yeah.
Instagram. I love it.
I just,
Makes
and I,
sense.
and having worked at places where it was just very much a revolving door and you would see the same people back year after year. And I was just like, this doesn't, to me, this isn't success. Success is if I never see you again. And I empower you to have the most amazing life because you have these tools that are making you more resilient. And yes, you'll have your ups and your downs. You just know how to navigate them better. So
Yeah.
we that's our goal. It's a big goal. Like, I don't know, again, are we going to achieve it? But that's where we're aiming for. And I think if you have data and you have tools where you can do like QEEGs and you have a better chance of understanding what's going on in the body, then you also have proof of it's not just a case of, oh, I feel better. Because people can come to a retreat and eat nice food and have
Sure.
massages, they feel better. But fundamentally, do you have a change? Whereas if you can see in black and white, their bloods have shifted,
Oof.
their uh, stool sample looks different. You can see also their brain looks different. That's all
Mm.
pinpointing that there has been a change. It's not just hearsay. It's not just, oh, actually, I feel good because I've had some time off work.
Such a fantastic approach because and I've actually done a little bit of the tapping. I did with my therapist, I had done the talk therapy, which was great, but then the somatic therapy, right,
Yeah,
with of the body and the whole nervous system. I remember when she first introduced me, she's like, "We're gonna heal your nervous system." I'm like, "What is this lady talking about? Like my nervous system? Like I just talk." I didn't. I had no clue how your body holds on to trauma. I
yeah,
just didn't wasn't aware. Like I thought it was all here, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
So
We see that with our clients. We do trauma release exercises, which are
mm,
just these very simple moves that you do, and it induces your body to shake. So if you've ever seen a dog after they've had an accident, they will shake the trauma out of their
yeah.
body naturally. But we as humans have forgotten how to do that. So it's a very powerful thing that you can again teach a person so that they can learn how to shake the trauma out of their bodies.
Yeah.
Um, and there's been, again, I suppose, over my journey, many different somatic techniques where um, I found my body doing things that I was like, what is going on? Or releasing things that, like you say, I thought it was all stored here. But my body also had a story that it needed to release.
Ooh, that's such a good line because it's those involuntary reactions of like when your body goes into that fight or flight, right? I mean, I
Yeah,
for me, it'll be like seeing somebody and my palms will sweat and then the stomach drop and the
yeah,
and like emit and now I have tools. I know I'm like, all right, which one are you gonna use today? Like,
yeah,
am I the mountain today or what are we gonna do? Are we breathing? Like, and my husband knows, like, he's like, all right, you're good. And I'm like, okay, just like just even my kids know that when I'm like taking deep breaths, but I didn't have that set of tools before, you know?
yeah.
Um,
I
so
really think
what you
it should be taught at school. I think that it's so important that, like little
life
things, like
changing.
how to communicate in a relationship. None of us were taught that. We go into a relationship just completely blind, and then we're until we once we come out of the love bubble and the honeymoon phase is over, we then start triggering each other.
Yeah.
And nobody warns you about that. Nobody tells you about it, but it's so deeply unconscious, and it's going to
Yeah.
happen at some stage. But all we have that's shown to us is Hollywood, where it's happily ever after, and that's not actually the case. The case is you're going to be triggered. The person who's going to trigger you the most is your partner because that's the person closest to you. And unless you have these tools, you're probably going to start tearing each other apart. And I think I went through that with my husband. We did go through elements of tearing each other apart because we didn't have the communication skills. Um, and,
Mm.
um, it sounds silly that you needed to get a script to communicate, but sometimes you actually need a script to communicate because you can be so triggered and your little boy or your little girl is running the show. And to get your adult back so that you can have the conversation in the present moment, sometimes a script is what's required.
Mm. No, and I love what you say about like the inner child. We all have that. And it's funny, I've kind of thought of triggers now as like if somebody says something to me and I have a reaction, there's something like, ooh, you hit on something
Yeah, yeah,
versus if someone says something and I'm like, there's no like there's no wound there. Like I don't
yeah,
have any insecurity with that. But I have been in my past like a very reactive person. And so now I've been like, ooh, I've learned how to respond with curiosity. Like, ooh, okay.
yeah, yeah,
What my therapist was like, what does it remind you of?
yeah,
What do you need right now? And I'm like, that time in third grade, or even just like that time at work when that boss said that, and then you just like the heart's racing.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
It is. It's so true that I think most of us are just on autopilot, like in reactive mode. It's like something
Yes.
to play, and then it's react, 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 and then you have an awakening, and then you're maybe reacting a little, and then you're going into more curiosity, and then as you get older, or if you've had some therapy, it's more than curiosity when you've come out of the temper tantrum, maybe, because there'll still be times where there's younger version of you that has a total tantrum and throws their toys out of their pram.
That is so true.
And you need, once you've kind of got control of her, it's like, okay, you're not there anymore. That's not happening, or whatever you think is going on. It's like, okay,
Mm.
come back to the present moment, you know?
It's almost like you're in a flash, you're in like another situation. It's such, wow, that's so true. It is an adult temper tantrum. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. But it's your
Yeah.
inner child who's taken over and taken control of and that's what you see in relationships a lot, where the two inner childs, it just descends down to two kids. And that's what I remember hearing that years ago, that you subconsciously attract the perfect person into your life who knows, um, who subconsciously attract the perfect person into your life to heal all your wounds, which is so true. Because if your partner is the person who's going to raise all of this stuff up and out, and unfortunately, they may be on the receiving end if you don't realize that that's what's actually happening. And I
Yes.
think I've seen in my sessions with clients and even in my own journey that you keep it, it's like you have an emotional imprint. And that emotional imprint attracts to you situations in your life over and over again. And that emotional imprint, in the case of me, may be helpless, hopeless, and out of control. So I was attracting these situations into my life that kept bringing up the same emotional imprint and the same emotional reaction. And it's the universe's way to say, you need to deal with this. And until you deal with this, we'll keep attracting these situations. So I had abuse. I had a boy that I knew died in an accident. It was just all these situations where there was a
Yeah.
lot of the same. And I've seen time and time again in sessions where numerically, it's like this beautiful mathematical equation. I had a girl come to see me, and she was, I think she was 36 when I saw her. And she was in, let's say her emotional imprint was helpless, hopeless, and out of control, because they're the ones that they used to be my ones.
Yeah.
And we were working on what was happening then. I think her relationship was breaking down. She was separating from her partner. There was a lot of sadness and overwhelm. And I said to her, can I ask what happened to you when you were 9 years old? So she was 36. So I just added the numbers together, 3 and 6. And she said, nobody's ever asked me that before. How did you know? And I just said, I'm just asking the question. And she had been abused at 9.
Mm.
And so then we cleared that. And then
Yeah.
I said to her, by any chance, did anything happen at 18? So 1 + 8 is 9. And she had been raped. And she also then had another trauma when she was 27. Different, but similar emotional imprint. And it was like these every decade of her life. She was probably the most perfect person who did that, like a perfect, but
Just,
she did it. So the mathematical equation
yeah.
is crazy. I've seen people who might do it here and there,
Yeah.
and it's it's fascinating to me. So it's like you're sending this wave of energy out to the universe, and until you accept responsibility for that wave of energy and go, I actually am going to change that, the universe
Mm.
is going to send you these situations for you in an effort for you to heal. So it's
'Cause
like, how do we
yeah.
change that wave of energy? And the way you do it is by doing mind, body, spirit therapy. So at Hinterland, we make sure that we're doing all three, because I think that a lot of people concentrate on mind. Like you say, they go, it's all here. But your body
Yeah.
and spirit need to be addressed too. And if you can address all three, then we can actually clear that energetic vibration you're sending out.
Yeah.
I say in my EFT sessions, EFT is like a DJ course.
Mm.
I'm going to teach you that you've been a DJ in a nightclub, and the tracks you've been playing are shit. They're so bad. Nobody wants to come to your club. You're attracting the wrong people into your club. They're really bad, but you actually have a container of really good records that are covered in cobwebs. And you've just not played them a lot recently. So what I'm going to do is we're going to break these old records up so that you can never play them again. And then we're going to start practicing these records that actually are really good that you have from your past. That's going to help you create new tracks. And soon you'll be like this amazing DJ, right? Attracting these amazing people into your club, maybe even making music, getting music awards. And everybody laughs like in the session going, oh my God. And I'm like, yeah, but that's exactly what is happening in your life.
I know that is such a good analogy. It's right on, right?
Yeah.
So
Because we
and
actually
the,
have
and the
it's
track,
almost like when you're in, when you go into an elevator or a lift and you hear that
yeah.
really ding ding music, and sometimes you don't even hear it. That's exactly what you're doing in your life. You have this backing track playing, which is trauma that you don't even know is there. Because that's playing, you're attracting situations because of that. So if we can change the track and change the way you hold that track in your mind, maybe even destroy the track and destroy all the neural pathways to that track, you have the opportunity to create a brand new record and a brand new way of being in the universe and a brand new way of like, what are you going to attract then? You know? And a lot of people are
Yeah.
nervous about letting go of their trauma because it's like, I don't want that
Yes.
to happen to me again. But what if you keep the lesson from that trauma and just let go of all of the pain and all of the emotions you've been holding on to? And as I say to my clients, if you wouldn't give that pain, sadness, grief, anger, helpless, hopeless, whatever it is, to your son or to your daughter or to a family member, why are you holding on to it? It's not helping you in the present moment. So you can keep the lesson so you know that you don't need to go through this again. And there's some very valuable lessons there, but you don't need to hold on to all the pain. That's affecting this emotional vibration that you're sending out. If that's
Yes.
affecting you in the present moment, that's affecting how you're reacting with your partner, with your friends, in the workplace, affecting so many areas of your life, whether you're conscious of it or not.
It becomes that lens through which you like interact with the world
Yeah,
if it's not healed, right?
yeah,
And I've recently learned this in the last couple of years, just going through my own journey, how important the the body and spiritual pieces and having um it's funny when you go through so much when you go through adversity, and I know everyone goes through different types of trauma, and it's your reaction to an event, right? It's like everyone has different responses to different types of events. um it's amazing to me how when you start to do the work of like facing it, like the actual beauty that's on the other side, that when you're in it you think like, oh, I'm never gonna feel better, like there's no way, like
yeah,
it's too heavy. And
yeah,
then you come out of it or like start to, and I think I'm on a good place, but I'm like, whoa, I didn't think life was gonna be this good. Like
yeah,
you can't imagine when
yeah,
you're in it.
that's true.
I'm sure you hear that
And
a
I think
lot,
there's
right?
also a lot of clients who are scared of opening Pandora's box. It's best left
uh
closed, right? I'm definitely not going there because emotions can be scary for people. They can feel out of
yes.
control because what if I start crying? I might never stop. Or what if I
Mhm.
start releasing that anger? I mightn't be able to control it. It might just overtake
Yeah.
me. But the gift that's on the other side of that is so huge. And it's, um, you'll just notice such a dramatic shift in your body, in your mind, in your being, that it's just worth the journey.
Mm. Mm. And I'm glad you say it is like it, and I'm sure you are there for your clients and you see it every day, but it's very hard to feel some of the things, are like, really face it, but it, the cleanse you feel after, like you're holding on to it anyway. It's there. Right? But there's what I'm learning is there's so much research behind these techniques. And what are some of the things that you're hearing? What do you hear over and over from some of your patients, your clients that might be going through? Is there things that people say across a lot of forms of trauma that seem to be like statements that you hear over and over? Or are there things, is it really depend on what they've gone through?
I think there's a common denominator when there's trauma that they were at fault. So
Mm.
somehow
Yeah.
must be
Somehow.
my fault. It must be something I did, that I said, something I didn't do, I didn't say. So
Mm.
there always seems to be a role in trauma where there's guilt that it was your fault in some way, shape, or form. I think, and if trauma happened over and over again, then there definitely can be I definitely must be, and that was the case for me. It happened many times, and for me, I blamed myself, even though I was a little kid. My perception of the events were, it must be my doing. It must be something that I did or I didn't do, or I went back there, so it must be because I
Sure.
went back there. Um, I think that's one thing I see with a lot of people, and then that underneath that there's usually a very sad or scared. Because even if they appear angry, underneath that there's just a very sad little child, right?
Mm.
Who
Mm.
just wants to be seen, who just wants to be heard, and who just wants to be validated. And I just see that with my clients over and over again, that they didn't feel seen, heard, or validated. Um, and in some cases where it's been trauma, they do everything in their power to make themselves invisible following trauma. So that could take I think for me, in hindsight, I was very shy. Whether I was shy before trauma, I don't know, but I was excruciatingly shy as a child. And then I slowly started coming out of my shell. For others, it may be in the way they dress, or I've had clients who are tattooed from head to toe in an effort to hide themselves. So if
Mm.
I'm covered in tattoos from head to toe, you won't come near me because you'll think I'm scary. When actually,
Yeah.
some of these people are some of the most sensitive people I've ever met in my life. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think there are some of the things that I've seen time and time again. Um, but at the end of the day, we all just want to be loved. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be validated. And the amazing breakthrough I've seen with people when they are not scared to go there and feel what they need to feel and know that it's not going to be as big and scary as you think it's going to be. It's
Yeah.
You've built it up so much in your mind that it's like, oh, this is going to be horrific, but it's never as bad as you think it's going to be.
Mm. Yes. You just have to kind of look the dragon in the face, and then like you said, the buildup of having to go there, the fear of feeling it. Tell me more about Hinterland Health Retreat, right? That's the formal name. And you have 8 guests at a time, right? 8 people at a time?
We can have up to 6 at the moment, and then the plan is to grow to 8.
Okay.
So yes, the
That's
idea is to
awesome.
keep it nice and small.
Yeah.
I saw when I worked at other retreats, there could be like 20 or 30 people, so you could get lost in the crowd. And especially when things are coming up, people are probably going to go, and then want to hide. So if there's a
Yeah.
smaller group, when those uncomfortable things are happening and you know, want to hide, or it's like, well, no, we're not going to let you because that's why you're here. You're here
Yeah.
for breakthroughs. You're here because you want to feel different. And we're going to do it in a nurturing, safe way. We're not going to do
Yeah.
it in a way that you don't feel safe. It's really about creating this very safe cocoon for you to work through what you need to work through. And some of our clients have described it. It's like a family where we are. So
Mm.
it's a home. It's not a treatment center. It's
Yeah.
We've got some lovely cooks to make nourishing
Mm.
food, and it's like being in mum's kitchen
Yeah.
or grandma's kitchen. It's just this very nurturing space
Mm. Mm.
to allow you to process what you need to process.
Yeah. And because the people that are coming to you have a variety of different trauma, right? You deal
Yeah,
with PTSD, grief, OCD, addiction, right?
yeah,
A wide
yeah.
range.
Depression, anxiety, um, yeah, whatever it is that you need to address,
Yeah.
really. because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's just getting to the root cause. What's the emotional foundation behind what it is that you're doing in your mind? So if you're
Mm.
doing anxiety in your mind or depression, what is the emotional framework
Ooh.
behind that? So why? And a lot of people don't know why it's there. And that's what us as the practitioners are there to do, to ask the right questions to get to the bottom of what's holding that in place. Because
Uncovered.
for some reason, that's a mechanism that you've chosen to do. And if we can
Mm.
get to the bottom of that, we can understand what's underneath that and take that out and create a new foundation for you where you can
Yeah.
rebuild.
Because and it's fascinating to me that the nervous system, like I know you've talked about like the vagus nerve and like just how your nerves actually are connected and eat all of your organs, and just how once you learn about the nervous system, you can't like unsee, like you're like, oh, no wonder, like no
Yeah.
wonder, but I'm so glad that now we're getting that out there, that the somatic part. Um, and would you say that, like, if someone listening right now, I mean, obviously everybody has all different kinds of adversity and trauma, like, what is the first step they can take, in the moment that they're having that they're having that really hard time? Is it to go to a specific tool? Is it to breathe? Like, how do you advise your clients to calm themselves when it's like the storm is raging?
I think if it's a raging storm, you're probably best to get help in some way, shape, or form. And that could be just talking to a friend.
Yeah.
If you have someone who's got therapeutic experience, reaching out to them.
Yeah.
But when it's a rage, it's going to be more challenging for you as an individual to probably rein that in. But you always have your breath, so taking some deep breaths, and it could be just breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, just box breathing.
Yep.
It could be just doing some tapping sequences if you have any
Yeah.
experience. And I say to my clients, if you don't remember all the points, even just tapping on your collarbone or tapping here,
Yeah.
that might calm it down a little, the rage, just a little, so that you can get to a more uh, logical place in your mind, where you can make um,
Yeah.
less reactive decisions, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, And I think, yeah, when it's a rage, it's not like you're going to go and meditate, because that's people
It's
will
just not
just say, meditate. I can't meditate in this space.
too
Um,
extreme, right? Yeah.
a psychologist did this amazing thing on me once where I was experiencing physical pain, and they got me a small ice cube and put it in my hand, and they got me to close it. And they said, all I want you to do is breathe. And it started burning in my hand, and I was just crying, and I was just like, I just want to let it go. And I was saying, this hurts, please stop. And all of the languaging that came out sounded like languaging that could have been referring to my abuse.
Mm.
And he was like, just breathe, this will pass, just breathe. And so I was breathing and breathing, and then it came to a point there was just a puddle of water in my hands. And I had this huge aha moment of, oh my God, I can just breathe, even when I'm in excruciating pain, whether it's pain like here or emotional pain. At
Mm.
some stage, the ice cube will melt. At some stage, the rage or whatever it is, it's going to calm down to more accept to a puddle, right? And I
Mm.
can, from that space, I can do something, right? And it's that whole thing about not being reactive. That it's also very challenging.
Yeah.
I've tried that experiment many times, and if somebody's not looking at me, I'm very tempted to just chuck that ice cube in the
It's so
sink.
hard.
So I think when it's very overwhelming, my first instinct would be get help. Like ring a friend, and don't be
Yeah.
afraid to ask for help. And
That's
I've said
so
this
big.
before. I have gone, because I've been seeing probably many people over the years. I've had many interesting experiences with practitioners. Some good, some not so good. Like
Sure.
any profession, there are good people, there are not so good people. There are people who are projecting their own crap. And
Yeah.
I think only because I was in this field, thankfully, I had experiences where in Australia, you can go to your doctor and say, I need a mental health plan. And that is, they'll sign you off for 10 sessions to a psychologist, which are
Okay.
paid for by the government, basically. They're heavily discounted.
Yeah.
So you might have to pay 10% of the price. And I had just been through IVF and I had just miscarried twins. And I was quite early on in that. There was a
Gosh.
lot of grief. And I went to a doctor, not my normal doctor. And I said, I'm really struggling and I really want a mental health plan because I need to talk to someone I need to work through this. Because I
Yeah.
also knew I needed to go back to IVF to try and get pregnant. So I knew that for me, I needed to work through this. And he said to me, we don't just give out mental health plans willy nilly. And I was like, yeah, but this is what's happened. And he's like, and I had proceeded for the next 10 minutes to justify why I should have a mental health plan. And I got one. And when I finally saw the psychologist, I explained what happened. And they said, oh, we are aware that this doctor does this a lot. And I thought, how sad is that, that this is something that is available to everyone, but there are people kind of
You're like, meh.
choosing to be the judge and jury on whether you should or shouldn't. And then I thought how difficult it would be for most people to actually go and ask for help and then to be on the receiving end of that. And I had a client come to me who had been to this doctor and had the same experience. Um, and they, I'm trying to remember, I think they didn't get one, like a mental health plan in that instance. And I'm sure there are lots of people who may have
Oh,
been
yeah.
to this doctor and didn't get a mental health plan and didn't get the help they needed. Or if you've been to, I've been to psychologists or counselors over the years, and I've come out. I think the way to analyze it is if you come out and you feel better. So you might feel lighter, you might feel exhausted, but
Yeah.
you feel
Yeah.
some level better. It
Sure.
might have been
Yep.
challenging, but if you come
Yeah.
out,
You
and I
can
had a
breathe.
client, I had a practitioner say to me, because I was of my trauma, I wasn't promiscuous as a young girl. The last thing I wanted to do was be sleeping around. And he said to me, oh, well, you're definitely going to have a midlife crisis and you're going to have an affair because you didn't sow your royal oats, was his words. And I came out and thought, oh my God, like you have no clue who I am. And
Yeah. Yes. Sure. Sure. Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. No, and there's an energy that person needs to feel to be able to probably maybe say things they haven't said to anyone their whole life, right? Like ever, you know? Um, and no, I'm such all about that because like with this podcast too, just taking like the shame out of stories and we all have stuff, like I don't everyone has different obstacles they've been through, but I've found the more and more I talk about it, like you say, think just anything that anyone goes through, it's built up in your mind, and then when you see that people react with non-judgment, you're like, "Oh," and then you connect through that vulnerability, right? Otherwise, we're all like surface level, just kind of going around hiding our pretending like we're not like, it's just it doesn't work for me anymore. I've done that. Same. Yeah. For sure. Yes. Yeah, it's such a beautiful mission, and it's very, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. I know you're open, but, like, to share that with my audience, and I appreciate how vulnerable you are. It's not easy, and, I know people listening have trauma and have trauma that there's a quote that's like, I hope you heal from the things you don't talk about. Like, I hope that hearing this episode helps people know that it's okay to talk about it, um, and like to get that professional help, like, you know because I feel like talking about it heals such a part of you, and like, it's it's quite powerful to be able to reach out to someone and that there is no shame in going, "You know what? I think I need some help." Like, I need help, whether you're a mom, whether you're single, whether you're a dad, whether you're midlife or in your 20s. It's not like a weakness to say, I need professional help. It's actually quite self-aware and it's an act of self-love, right? Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm. Well, and I've learned too, it's such a gift to, like, anyone you interact with when you work on yourself. Like, I enjoy my own company more. I'm, like, proud of myself for working on myself, but I'm also like, "Wow, I didn't react that way that time, and that must be nice for that person." I mean, it still happens, but I'm like, "Oh," or I can catch myself a little sooner, and it's just working on yourself is a gift for everyone. If you think it's sort of like, "Oh, it's selfish. I don't wanna, like, just be all about me." It's actually it's all about everybody, right? Those weird, like, loner types. Amazing. Same. No. Well, and I wanna you said a phrase that I think would be a lovely way to wrap up. You said it's been lovely getting to know yourself, and it's been lovely getting to know you, Jackie. I know we talked back in November, we've been emailing, and, you're in Australia, I'm in California, so I'm so glad we could finally work it out with the time zones. We were calculating and doing all the things. I was like, "Wait, what is that?" So hold on, wait, one more time. Um, but I've been looking at pictures of Hinterland Health Retreat. I It's beautiful. It looks like a place that anyone would love to go kind of like heal from, what they're going through. So I would love to stay connected with you, and I'm going to put in the show notes a link to your website, to your Instagram, to LinkedIn, all the things so that everybody knows where to find you. Yeah. Thank you. Me too. I feel like it was the please, like, I've never been. My mom's from South Africa, so and she's been, and I'm super jealous, so I need to go. But, we're gonna no, I would love to maybe I'm just gonna come and do a in-person interview, you know? We might just have to do it. Okay, let's do it. Boom. Thank you so much, and, have a lovely weekend. Alright. We will talk soon. Bye.